was recently claimed by Andrew the Yang. Andrew the Yang had read an article, and he said that Eric Adams was responsible for a woman who tried to confront some folks about illegal fireworks, and then the people she confronted shot and killed her, which implies that Eric Adams is responsible for... That's such bullshit. I'm just going to, off the top you have, what's his name, that UFC fighter, comes outside, sees a carjacker, knocks him out, keeps him pinned to the ground, calls the police. The idea of Eric Adams is that it's both community and the police working together. The police, the community, both side by side, working together in order to solve the crimes of the neighborhood. And that is the correct model. That's the correct model. So Andrew the Yang sitting there saying that it was his fault. It's just fucking bullshit. This is fireworks gate. This is much ado about nothing. This is Eric Adams, did not kill, is not responsible for 33-year-old Shatavia Walls. R.I.P. Shatavia Walls. She's 33 years old, and she does get shot. And it has to do with fireworks, but it's got to do with so much more. And I'm just going to read the article here in a second. So Eric Adams told the people to, instead of getting the strong arm of the police to shutting down fireworks, just ask people not to light the fireworks. And then 33-year-old Shatavia Walls probably had that in the back of her mind when she had confronted some local folks. Now, is it Eric Adams' fault? I think that's ultimately, what's the alternative? Telling the community just to, fold their hands, put their head in the sand, don't fucking pay attention, don't be proactive, ignore it. Maybe if you can't beat them, join them, right? What the fuck else is the community supposed to do? Just be a bunch of dumb fucking passive sheep that just gets victimized by the, by the criminals while the police are nowhere to be found? So I think you have to have a combination between the two. You got to have a combination between the public, being proactive. Okay, they can't go around, arresting people or what have you, but they can, you could have some kind of relationship. I feel like that's actually the only way. If the police aren't protecting and serving the community, and the community doesn't want the police, then that means there's a fucking fundamental problem between those two. So I feel like that's the goal, right? You want the cops to be good, protecting the community. You want the community to feel like they're being protected and served by the cops. That's perfect. If the community was being protected and served by the cops, then they wouldn't have to be proactive. But cops can't be everywhere. And so since cops can't be everywhere, you're sitting there telling people that if something happens, and, shit can happen in a few fucking moments. There was that gun down in New York City. I guess Fox News was making hay about this. It was fucking scary as shit. It looked like two teenagers, one, just gunned the other one down right there in fucking broad daylight. And the other one, ducked down behind some children trying to get away, from the gunfire. So that's fucking horrendous. Jesus Christ, just to be fucking gunned down right there on the goddamn streets. And then what about, maybe that guy that he seemed young, that young male, maybe he was a part of this shit, but what about everybody else in the fucking neighborhood? And then, the gunmen just ran off. So if a cop isn't right there on the scene, we're just supposed to let motherfuckers come up and gun a motherfucker down and then run the fuck off? I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. We're supposed to let motherfuckers just hijack us or carjack us and just, well, fuck you. No fucking way. No fucking way. It's one thing to say, okay, don't be the police, don't be, fucking Superman, but it's a whole nother fucking thing to sit there and say, well, you gotta be the victims of the criminals. You gotta just let them do whatever they want. So it's not Eric Adams. Eric Adams, it's not his fault, his fucking philosophy. Basically, it should be the illegal fireworks. I have a problem with that. It's fucking 4th of July, right? Fucking light the fireworks off, but if it's not the 4th of July, okay. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. I want to actually share a story with you. It really isn't related, but it kind of is. So I have an uncle. I had an uncle. I still have an uncle, but I don't talk to him. So I had an uncle. And he took credit for kicking his sister out of a house at the family farm that she was renting, but she hadn't paid her rent for several months. So the uncle kicked his sister out onto the streets. She didn't pay her rent. And then when she was kicked out on the streets, floundering here and there, eventually she finds a man, and she finds a husband, and they get married, and they purchase, property, and they have a family. Now, according to this uncle, he said he took credit for her success. He said that if he hadn't booted her out, she wouldn't have found a good man, and she wouldn't have done well for herself. Okay, so maybe she, attached herself to a man because she had to. She had to survive. She had to fucking survive. So that didn't put her in a very good position for leverage. Also, you don't get to claim credit for helping a person when all you did was hurt them. The uncle, evicted his sister, my aunt, so uncle made aunt fucking homeless. And then she was able to, find a rose and all that fucking cow shit. And you think you deserve credit for that? That's as ridiculous as saying Eric Adams is responsible. So this is what he's doing. My uncle is, it's like Hitler taking credit for Israel. If it wasn't for his genocide, the Jewish homeland wouldn't have ever been founded, right? Thank goodness for Hitler. What did you say? Well, I'm glad that Israel was here. If it wasn't for Hitler trying to Holocaust the Jewish people, then we wouldn't have felt like we needed to find a Jewish homeland for the Jewish people to go to. So thank goodness for Hitler. I guess you could always find some kind of silver lining, but that's insane. Saying thank you to Hitler for Israel? Shut the fuck up. That's like blaming a fucking anti-racist for being racist. What, you're against racism? Well, then that makes you a racist. What, you're against fascism? What, you think you should think you punch a fucking Nazi, especially if they're being violent? You think you have a right to defend yourself and your loved ones? That's like calling an anti-fascist a fascist. What kind of piece of shit would do something like that? Motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. Try to get a little bit of validation. Motherfuckers are just fucking pricks. You would have had everything, but, you rejected it all. So that's fine. That's fine. You're a fucking piece of shit. You can't fucking empathize or validate what the fuck to anybody. Americans, you need to reassure each other that you're not going to fuck each other over. I remember this one, you got fuck them before they fuck you or some shit. That's a philosophy. You got fuck them over before they fuck you. So you got to fuck other people over before you get fucked by them. And that's just life, That's just how life is. Everybody's just fucking everybody over. Really? That sounds terrible. I don't like that at all. So yeah, I've had motherfucking racist, fucking fascist, white supremacy motherfuckers that have been fucking with me for months. Doing drive-bys, ran over my fucking puppy. Cops ain't doing shit. Maybe might be a part of the fucking bullshit. On top of all the other major crimes that's happening around here. So, you want the racist fascists to win? I got it. You're on their fucking side. I know. And you're very fucking dedicated. You're very fucking dedicated. So, for my uncle did a shitty thing. He did a shitty thing. He was a shitty person doing a shitty thing, and then he was saying he deserved credit because, he pushed his sister into dog shit, into cow shit, and she found a diamond. And, maybe she did do decent or good for herself, comparatively speaking, but there might be problems there. You don't know. And it's just insane because it also minimizes the struggle. You pushed them down, and they had to claw and climb, and they had, they had to withstand all the bullshit. They had to traverse the storm. They had to machete through the fucking jungle. They had to fight the tsunami, the hurricane, get through the torrential hail. They had to find the light at the end of a tunnel, a very dark tunnel that you darkened even more darker than what it... And that takes such gall to ignore their fight, to ignore their struggle and be like, well, remember that time I fucked you over? You're welcome. Remember that time I fucked you over? You're welcome. It'd be like saying, it's not like, okay, it's not like shooting a person, but it'd be like somehow saying that was a good thing. And then, you know what? It takes some gall, some arrogance, stupidity, rationalizing wickedness, but let's assume that somehow, yeah, okay, you get credit for the success because, you set in motion a certain chain of events. But if my aunt, Alice, if Alice would have gotten raped and murdered, ran over by a car, froze to death, then my uncle would get that credit too, right? Or just the positive shit, and if your shitty behavior somehow, you get credit for the person turning their life around and doing good things. If my uncle's shitty behavior led to shitty consequences, then I'm sure that he would have felt really, really bad. So this is behavior. He evicted a person, right? He evicted somebody. This isn't just saying, hey, stand up for yourself. Hey, neighborhood, community, do all that you can. The cops are going to do their best. You do your best. That's Eric Adams' point. So he's just encouraging, common sense fucking behavior. So here's the article. I'm just going to read it. A Brooklyn woman who followed Borough President Eric Adams' advice for New Yorkers to settle disputes neighbor to neighbor rather than calling 911 wound up shot after she confronted some punks setting off illegal fireworks. The victim's grieving mom said Shatavia Walls, 33 years old, was blasted 8 times in an East New York public housing complex on July 7th simply for asking the fiends to take their dangerous display away from a group of playing kids. Exactly how Adams had urged constituents to act in the face of the pyrotechnic plague. She watched the news. Yes, she heard it. Helen Testigros, Wall's heartbroken mother, told the Post on Sunday, referring to Adams' advice. It was probably in the back of her mind. Amid increasing complaints of illegal fireworks detonations, Adams on June 21st said people should talk to their neighbors about the nonviolent act rather than call the authorities and risk a heavy-handed police response. So that's Adams' advice, right? You call the police, they might, it might be too heavy-handed. People might get arrested. I mean, it might be a ticket. It might be violence and jail and shit. So that's actually better for the fucking gangbangers. These stupid gangbanger motherfuckers wanting to get, whatever fucking street cred, just actually got all the attention on themselves, and now they're about to get everything, whatever they thought they won, they're about to get it all taken away from them. Eric Adams' advice was to prevent the police from coming. So you're going to light fireworks and somebody says they're nice about it. Hey, can you light those fireworks off? It's too late at night. You probably should do it, right? Are you going to get a gun and shoot that person? Hey, can you, it's 3 in the morning and, we got to wake up and, can you keep that down? What did you say to me? Fucking crazy. That's too fucking much. That's criminality beyond the fucking pale. This isn't Eric Adams' fault. It's the motherfucker that murdered, Shatavia, what was her name? So it's the person that, you can't blame Eric Adams. You got to blame the person, the triggerman. And the reason why that's important is because they haven't arrested him. The guy doesn't. There's no warrant for his arrest. Seems like the people know who the fucking guy is. It seems like everybody knows him. The story seems very crystal clear. So it's a big, notorious motherfucker in the neighborhood. And it was Shatavia Walls. So 33-year-old Shatavia Walls is going to get shot and killed in New York City. And they haven't even arrested the person. They haven't arrested the shooter. They haven't even issued a warrant out for the shooters who killed her. Like, that's the first question, right? You're going to sit there and just start pointing fingers. Remember when Eric Adams said that thing? Yeah. Remember when the New York Police Department didn't catch the fucking person who murdered the... So I'm going to use her first name, not just... use the last name in here. Shatavia. R.I.P. Shatavia. So Shatavia was visiting her mom, siblings, and extended family in NYCHA's Pink Houses. I think that's, free housing, what do they call that? So that's free housing. NYCHA's Pink Houses Walls was troubled by a group setting off fireworks in a playground on the sprawling development as young children played just feet away. Testa Gross said. And then the article goes on and says that a scuffle ensued. And it makes it sound like it's not just about the fireworks, and then she asked nicely, was she mean about it? But I mean, even then, even if she's like rude or whatever, it's how else are you gonna fucking, you know, get through to these motherfuckers? But a scuffle ensued. One of the creeps chased Shatavia Walls into her mother's building, pulled out a gun and fired a single shot at her, according to Testagros. But the round missed Shatavia. The first shot, the first shot of the first shooting missed Shatavia Walls. She had the presence of mind to scoop up both the shell casing and the New York State driver's license of the alleged gunman who dropped it while fleeing, Testagros said. What? Did he drop his own fucking license, or did he drop someone else's? That would be the best fucking lead right there. You got the shell casing, and you got the motherfucker's driver's license. Isn't that how they caught with the fucking True Romance? Shatavia Walls called 911 to report the attack, supplied police with the name, home address, and physical description of her alleged assailant based on the ideas she recovered. The Post is withholding the identity of the man, an alleged gangbanger, because he is yet to be arrested, charged, or formally identified as wanted. You know, that would be incredible, be very smart, I guess, if a motherfucker did some shooting like that and dropped somebody else's fucking license. Yeah, chase that motherfucker. But, you know, that might be smart because it might throw him off the trail, but it might actually be stupid as shit because it'll show that's somebody you robbed, right? So that's somebody in the neighborhood, so it might actually show somebody that's within the vicinity of you. So I think that either way, whether they dropped the thing intentionally, which sounds unlikely, Occam's razor says, motherfucker dropped his ID, chased her, shot at her, accidentally dropped his damn wallet. So this shows you why the cops the media's scared of this man. The police are scared of this man. They won't even, they'll print her name, right? They'll let her die like a dog in the street. Now you're going to have a second run-in on July 7th. So Shatavia, right? Shatavia Walls, Shatavia. You had another run-in on July 7th. So the first one was on Independence Day, July 4th. July, I guess, last year. In that encounter, an undeterred Shatavia Walls and a pal, Kelvin Hernandez, again asked a band of fuse-lighting fiends to scram from the playground around 8:30 p.m., according to police sources. That group did not include the first man who previously shot at Shatavia Walls, but one of them went to retrieve him, and he came running. Testagros said he was chasing her, hopping over the gate, shooting. Is this the person in the ID, or is this somebody else? The Post gets the fucking sensationalship, but doesn't help the fucking case, doesn't help the investigation whatsoever. After one round found its target, the gunman moved in for the kill. He walked over, said Testagros. She was on the ground, shot, and he kept on shooting her until the gun went click, 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 signifying an empty click. So he just kept shooting until all the bullets were out of his gun. Probably had it cocked on the side, too, and probably was throwing the bullets at him. Like, So, Shatavia Walls wasn't just saying, hey, you know, don't do the fireworks over. She's confronting the fucking neighborhood gang. And, you know, maybe she could have thought about differently how, you know, she confronted them. I'm sure in the back of her mind, you know, listening to Eric Adams, but really the community should do what they can. I think they should have just kept calling the police and really insisting to, no, it's right here, no, it's illegal, what, no. Now I want the heavy-handed approach. I want the heavy-handed police here. Now get the heavy-handed police, there's an emergency, motherfuckers. That's the whole point. So maybe they should, you know, if it's illegal, if shooting off fireworks is illegal in New York City, and they got all that fucking, you know, it probably is traumatic PTSD, hearing pop, 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 pop in the middle of the fucking day. So there you go. They said the first man that shot at her, Shatavia Walls, and they said that she used the description from the ID and not the one from her memory or something. And that's the thing. She went to the police. Where the fuck were the police? Where are the police at now? She went to the police. If the police would have done their fucking job, she wouldn't be dead. If the police would do their jobs now, she could still get justice. If somebody can empathize, if somebody can give a goddamn fuck. Everybody want to point fingers, but we haven't even arrested the motherfucker. We got the ID. Motherfucker, drop the ID. If it's not him, well, it's the leading suspect. Give us a fucking name for the leading suspect, and let's question that motherfucker, and then find the next leading suspect until we find the motherfucker. Shatavia Walls, a home health aide and cleaner, worked at the Port Authority bus terminal. Regular working class woman. Struck 8 times. At first survived. She and Hernandez, who was also shot, were hospitalized. Identified the cops, the man responsible, from their beds. So again, yeah, that's the man. Still haven't arrested. No warrants, nothing. Are they even investigating? Did they just stop the whole investigation? Did they get paid off? Did this motherfucking shooter pay the cops off? Is that what's going on? Some City of God shit. While Hernandez recuperated, Shatavia Walls succumbed to her wounds late Friday at Brookdale Hospital. In a statement, Adams, a presumptive 2021 mayor candidate, extended his sympathies to Walls' family, decried the city's spike in gun violence, but didn't fully dismiss his neighborly approach. Eric Adams says, "My heart goes out to the family of Shatavia Walls on this horrific incident." He said, "Gun violence has hurt too many innocent people in our city, from 1-year-old Dovell Gardner to this dynamic young lady. Dangerous people are shooting innocent people for senseless reasons. I renew my call for cracking down on the scourge of illegal guns. Our call is to continue building an ecosystem of public safety that includes community response and police," he continued. "Whenever someone exhibits violence, we should call the police. But whenever we can communicate peacefully with our neighbors, we should do so." Testa Gross, too, bemoaned the grip of gangs and guns on city streets. "It's all about Project Fame for them. Quick to shoot," she said. "They don't care about your life. This is a train coming down," she continued, referring to the proliferation of gun-toting gangs. "This is a train coming down. You gotta stop them, or it's going to get worse." So it's not exactly how Andrew Yang, Katie Halper, and Matt Taibbi, and this other guy, he's the expert. They're talking about the New York City mayor race.
It was horrific there, fine here. So once you invoke Ebola, you enter this realm of, oh, we'll be fine. And people knew better. Scientists knew better. Journalists who'd been studying what was going on in China knew better. Even the New York Times, they knew better. You could learn about COVID in Wuhan just reading the Times' reporting in January 2020. Like, it wasn't a secret by then. So really catastrophic rhetoric, and then you couple that with very slow movement to shut down New York City. And, California, particularly San Francisco, and the surrounding counties did a very good